And today I have this book, How to Lie with Statistics. Probably you are kind of surprised that I'm using this book for the presentation, because this is per se not a book on communication. But of course, communication is everything, pretty much everything that we do in life. We are, every single second of our daily lives, we are communicating one way or another. Verbally, non-verbally, you name it, we are always communicating. And certainly we do communicate with numbers. And many times the way we present numbers also say something. And that is, to some extent, the purpose behind the presentation. I'm going to pass the book around so you can have a look into the book. I don't know, any of you is majoring in statistics? None. Estupendo, porque así no me van a hacer preguntas muy difíciles o que no voy a saber responder, por supuesto. Oh, I forgot to the clicker. Sí. Se me había olvidado. All right. Está sin batería ya, unas pastillas. All right. So this is the planned list of events for this presentation. I'll provide you with a executive plan, and as you know, an executive plan is kind of a very summarized summary of the presentation, of the content of the communication. We'll then talk something about words, because if I'm going to say something about statistics, about numbers, I want to first say something and have a fun at words. Okay. I'll let you know something about how much I know about statistics. Okay. Maybe have a second if I'm optimistic. I will talk something about the most common problems that we deal when dealing with statistics. I don't know how common these problems are. Certainly, as you know, this is not by far my area of expertise. But based on the book and based on some other information that I've been able to recoup off the net, I do want to say something about the most common problems. And I've given you time to hopefully read through the paragraph, and then we'll wrap up the presentation. All right, okay then. Executive summary. Not so fast. All right, what do I mean by that? Statistics, and certainly the purpose behind that book, is not to teach you how to lie. That would be dishonest. Okay, and I would not be talking about a book that tells you how to be dishonest with numbers. Obviously not. There are politicians to do that kind of a task, right? But in the academia, of course, not. So really the purpose behind the book is rather how to identify problems, how to identify the different strategies some people use in order to make sure that the statistics kind of provide or shed a light on a topic which is not maybe the true one. So again, the purpose of the book is not for you to lie, but for you to rather to identify what is the truth behind the numbers. Okay. Certainly, as I told you a few minutes ago, I really have a very good time preparing this presentation. I'll show you some of the not only Big Bang Theory clips, but also some pictures that I got off the net, and which hopefully will also help us share a laugh or two, because they deal with statistics and with numbers in a very comical way. Certainly, playing with numbers is an everyday experience, even for people like myself, My expertise is certainly not numbers. My expertise is words, communication, messages. But certainly, like everything else, the same way that a statistician has to use words every single day, likewise, myself, I also have to use numbers every single day. To count the beans, to count the number of tires in my car, to count how many dogs in my home, to count. We use numbers every day, same way that we use words every single day. It's not something that is limited or should be limited to some particular subgroup of people. Really, everybody, we all use words daily. We all play with numbers. We all use numbers, quantities daily. So from that point of view, again, this is also a presentation. This is also a book for everybody, not just some people. And also, how does statistics resemble a nail clipper? Okay, very easily. You know that nail clippers nowadays are forbidden on board planes because they may pose a danger, right? You can figure out how to hurt somebody with a nail clipper. That's wonderful. I have a hard time, but certainly it is forbidden on board the plane. Statistics, likewise, like a knife, you can use a knife to slice a nice piece of meat. You can use a knife to peel a potato. Likewise, you can use a knife to hurt somebody. Same thing with statistics. Okay, we can use statistics, we can use numbers to make good or to not make good. Okay, and let me give you an example of what we mean by all this. This is one of the clips from the Big Bang Theory.
Can we get an order of dumplings but with 3 instead of 4?
No substitutions.
Can you hear?
This isn't a substitution, it's a reduction.
Okay, no reductions.
Bring us 3 orders of dumplings, that's 12 for each of 4.
That works. No, if we fill up on dumplings, we need to eliminate another entree. No eliminations.
We have extra, we'll just take the leftovers home.
And divide it how? I'm telling you, we cannot do this without Wolowitz.
Wolowitz is with his new girlfriend. If you had let me invite Penny, then you would have had your 4th.
Have you seen Penny eat Chinese food? She uses a fork and she double dips her egg rolls.
We don't order egg rolls.
Exactly, but we'd have to if she was here.
Should we please make a decision? Not only are the children starving in India, there's an Indian starving right here.
There's an idea. Why don't we just go out for Indian food?
You are nice boys. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring you the 4 dumplings. When I'm walking over to the table, maybe I get bumped. One of the dumplings fall to the floor. No one has to know.
I'll know.
Again, see? We use numbers. So you mean? See? Okay. We use numbers every single day, even when we are at the restaurant and we're trying to figure out how to divide the rations of food so everybody has a fair share and the like, as we saw in this case. We use numbers every single day. In most occasions, that's nothing, again, limited, restricted to a few people.
Can we get an order?
And before numbers, there were words. Okay? The same way we can play with numbers, we can play with words. The same way that we can make fun of and with numbers, we can make fun of and with words. And let me show you some examples of how we can poke anybody else's eye by using words incorrectly. Like on these scoops of papers from Spain. Un avión español se estrella en Turquía por tercera vez en lo que va de año. Can you imagine that? Same plane, one plane, crashing 3 times in a year. Okay. Of course, that's not what we assume. That's not what the headline really means. But that's how we can interpret the message. Okay. One plane crashes for the 3rd time. The very same plane crashes for the 3rd time in Turkey. Moraleja, don't fly to Turkey, right? Kind of. But, and this is even funnier. Okay. La autopsia confirma al 100% la muerte de whoever. Well, it would be kind of really eerie if that weren't the case. Okay, if you carry out an autopsy on somebody, he'd rather be dead. He'd or she rather be dead. And if she or he is not, by the end of the autopsy, most likely he is or she is. Clearly, all right. So we make fun with and of words. We all make mistakes with words. How about this one? Try to figure out what the situation is. El diputado de turismo vuelve al trabajo tras morir casi ahogado. You tell me what the case is. Okay? And these are real cases. This is not imaginary. This is not, okay? That looks like my bank account. Okay? Una fortuna con muchos ceros a la izquierda. No matter how many zeros you have to the left of the number, they mean nothing. Again, that's my bank account with many zeros to the left. Okay? And this is even worse because this is from the newsreel in Spain. Solo faltaría que Sánchez firmara un acuerdo y luego dijera, with a G instead of with a J, que no lo va a apoyar with double L rather than with a Y. Okay? Spelling is awful. Coming that on the public television, that is a crime. We all make mistakes. Sometimes those mistakes, most times those mistakes are accidental. Likewise with numbers, right? And in English, of course, also. I suppose it is possible to applaud with just one hand, but still, applaud kind of implies two, right? Of course, this one. The Greenland meteorite may be from space. Well, if it is a meteorite, I haven't heard of any meteorite coming from Russia or from New Zealand. They all come from somewhere deep in space. Right? This is even funnier. Can you imagine a 7-day-long diarrhea flowing through? Imagine the scene. What do they mean? We don't know. We can speculate. But the headline, that's the way that it was. It's really, right? Again, numbers is for everybody, every single day, even for the poor Kevin. Kevin, in this case, we don't have hopes. He's a tiger toy, but still, he manages to really get a laugh on our face. Okay. What is yours is yours. What is mine is mine. Numbers be damned. All right. Statistics. Also, keep on having a very good time when preparing this presentation. Certainly, statistics are like a bikini. What they reveal is important, but what they cover up is vital. Right? Certainly it is. Statistics is the art of never having to say you're wrong. That's what I like about the statistics. You can imply opposite things still with the very same data. Why did the statistician cross the interstate to get data from the other side of the median? All these things, obviously, all these things are taken off YouTube, of the videos of YouTube, and everything else is off the net via Google search. But as I say, I really had a wonderful time preparing this presentation. It's the only field where two experts using the very identical data may come to completely opposite conclusions with the same data and still. This one is priceless. It's true. and it's certainly priceless. Okay. And if you don't find that one really funny, I don't know what to think. And that's the typical, the classical graph, okay, with all the lines, vertical, horizontal. You can look at the very same situation and see, okay, that's a mountain range seen through a tennis racket. Okay, same object, different perspective, right? Again, words, numbers. We use words, we use numbers. We can make fun with words. We can make fun with numbers. Okay, every single day, every one of us. So, how much I know about statistics? Pretty much like I know Kung Fu and 7 other Chinese words. That's how much I know about statistics, right? I know it deals with numbers. And you tell me, yeah, of course. Needless to say, yeah, okay. But something I know. What are the 2 or 3 things I know about statistics? That it deals with numbers. That's my Bible when dealing with statistics. Statistics with for dummies, and even that is difficult for me to understand, to follow. Okay, so I need a statistics for dummiers, not just dummies. Okay, and of course the Big Bang Theory itself, because it does give me quite a few moments of laughter and quite a few moments when I do learn something about numbers.
Someone has to go up with the telescope as a payload specialist, and guess who that someone is? Muhammad Ali. Who's Muhammad Ali? Muhammad is the most common first name in the world, Lee the most common surname, and as I didn't know the answer, I thought that gave me a mathematical edge.
Indeed. All right. Okay. Given a sense of probability, Sheldon doesn't know the answer, but based on probability, he gets a right answer. I mean, it's not the right answer, but probably it is the right answer. Okay. So that's something that I know about statistics. Deals with numbers, and I learned something about that from the Big Bang Theory. All right. Okay. Most common problems regarding statistics. We tend to assume. Many times we base our everyday life on past experiences, on what other people tell us, and many times we do not check for the truth, we do not check for facts on which to base. So many times we tend to assume.
Perhaps the comic book store is on fire.
Why would he call me?
We don't know. Answer the phone. We can't miss.
I'm not answering the phone, Sheldon.
Answer the phone, Leonard.
There, it went to voicemail.
Check your messages.
All right, okay. So we tend to assume. We need to make sure, we need to check facts before we can act on those facts. Otherwise, we will be led to wrong assumptions and therefore to wrong actions. All right, okay. That's also how much I know about statistics. Just the labels by playing with Excel. Not the graph itself. The graph itself is something beyond me. Okay, but I know how to use Excel to get the labels on the X and on the Y axis. How to label the columns, data. That much I do know. Okay, that's how much I know about. Okay.
seats? Oh, no, we have seats.
Not the right seats.
What is he doing?
Finding the acoustic sweet spot.
Does he always do this?
Sometimes he brings a toy xylophone. I am really sorry about this.
No, it's sweet.
My apologies, you've been sitting in it all along. When did you want to slide over one? No, just sit here.
He was looking for the sweet spot, the acoustic sweet spot, the best place in the cinema where the sound was all around, really, and something about statistics and about numbers. All right, okay, this is even a more complex bell curve. The previous one I didn't really understand, this one much less. I mean, I do understand something because I've taken some MOOC classes on statistics, but still it's not something that I use on a daily basis, and therefore much of its use really escapes me. All right, let me give you another case of the most common problems. That is when, for instance, the data may be biased. This is an advertisement. As you can see, based on that, if 93% of the people choose AT&T, chances are I should go with AT&T too, because obviously. What the ad does not tell us is how many people were interviewed for this. It does not tell us when. Maybe it was when Verizon was not yet, maybe had just started on the area, working on the area. The thing is, there are some information, there is some information which we should know about in order to judge how truthful that data, that statistics, that percentage is. If we don't have that accompanying information, we cannot rely 100% on that data. Okay? And in this case, at least, we don't have that information. Okay? Like in a joke, into a bar roll a mean, a median, and a mode. All right? This is taken off out of the book. This is a graph in the book which really clarify, at least for my benefit, does clarify what we mean by mean or average, median, and mode. Usually, when we talk about average, or let me put it differently, when we want to say about the common man, we usually use the word average, promedio, okay? But there are three kinds of promedio: the mean, median, and mode. Depending on which one you are depending on which one you are using, the true value of the number may be different, okay? You know about this far better than I do. But if we do the math, and I did the math because that really did help me to understand this much better, okay? If we consider that there's one guy who earns 45,000, another person that earns, let me see if I can use the pointer now, if I have, no, it's not yet. All right, okay, some other day. If we calculate how much money all these people do, that amounts to $142,000, okay? And there is 25 individuals, okay? So if we divide the 142,000 by the 25 people, that gives us an average of 57%. Okay. However, and that's the actual mean, the actual average. However, we talk about average in the sense of median. The number is 3,000. Okay. So if you are say a politician, maybe somebody in authority in the area, in the company, you may want to say that people earn on average this much, and that is a true number. Okay. But if you are dealing with in human resources, you may want to use not the mean but the median to say, okay, the average is 3,000. So we need to give more money to people. Okay. Both numbers, as you know, both numbers are correct. Both numbers mean average, but depends on how we get to these two averages. Okay, the total amount of money by the number of people, or the value in 50-50. Okay, so there is, even though both numbers are true, even though both numbers are right, how each of those two numbers are different and imply something different. Okay, so again, if you are the owner of a business or a politician and you want to say that most people earn a lot of money, you might want to use this. If you are in the local union, this is also a true value. But this may be more in accordance with your own ideals. Okay. All right, imagine if instead of 45,000, this guy earns 90,000. Okay, double the amount of money. Okay, in that case, the average goes up to 75,000. Okay, all these people are still earning the very same quantity, the very same wage. Okay, but because that guy earns now double the amount of money, the mean now is 75, but the median is still the same, 3,000. Okay, both numbers, both values are true, are correct, are right, but which one are you going to use? Which one fits your interests better? Okay, compared with the previous case. Earlier it was 57, now it is 75. 3,000 stays, of course, stay the same. All right.
Are you planning to go on many dates?
Okay, this is a true use of statistics in the Big Bang Theory. And again, we use numbers every single day, and we can extrapolate, and we can learn something from it, as Paul Penny is about to find out.
Yeah, I wouldn't say many. A few.
Your characterization of approximately 171 different men is a few.
Where did you get 171 men?
Simple extrapolation. In the 3 years that I've known you, you were single for 2. During that time, I saw 17 different suitors. If we work backwards, correcting for observation bias and postulating the initial dating age of 15.
Wait. I did not start dating at 15.
I'm sorry, 16 and 14. My mistake.
Didn't do anything.
Assuming the left side of the bell curve peaking around the present, that would bring the total up to 193 men. Plus or minus 8 men.
All right, okay, so again, we can use numbers, we can use statistics for every single thing in life every single day, no problem there. Okay, all right, okay. And as I just told you a few minutes ago, yes, there are numbers, or maybe not, behind the numbers. When Windows XP, if any of you knows Windows XP, maybe you don't because you're too young maybe for that, I'm sure Irving does remember Windows XP. You do, right? Okay. When Windows XP, and I believe it was Windows XP, and we're talking like maybe 15 years ago or so, or more than that, Windows XP, okay, came out. There was a joke very similar to this one. It read something like, a million monkeys in a million years could end up producing Windows XP. Okay, it was kind of a criticism. Okay, same place here. Given enough time, given enough resources, you can get whatever results that you wish. Even with monkeys. By chance, by pure chance, they might end up writing a sonnet that might rival Shakespeare's. Okay. In this case, a pretty good sonnet about bananas, right? Okay. So given enough time, all right. And yes, it's all in the eyes of the beholder. Consider that graph talking about the interest rates, and we can say, well, okay, they stayed flat. There's been no changes in interest rates. Okay, for some politicians, that's good news, right? There's been no rise in interest rates. However, the very same data can be shown, can be graphed that way. Okay. The only difference being that, notice in this case we're starting from 0, whereas in this case we're already starting at 31.39. Okay, so that this represents this much. Okay, but clearly this one does show a rise in interest rates, and it looks like a very dramatic rise because it's very uphill. Okay, even if it is only like when they're going to do it like 0.15 points, right? I was it percent, 0.15%. Okay, so the rise is very small, it's very minute, but still looks like it's been dramatic, like you are going up the Everest mountain. Okay, same information, depending how you present it, how you prepare it, may look very differently. And of course, for the untrained eye, this looks wonderful. That looks, oh my God. Okay, same information. Again, it's a question of perspective. Okay, over there we've got, okay, this is double the amount of money. Okay, this is up to 30, this is 60. Okay, this is double the amount of money. We can represent that graphically: one bag of money, two bags of money. Double the amount, double the amount. Different graph, different drawing, but the same representation, no problem. However, we can also say, all right, okay, we can, rather than presenting two bags of money, let's make that one bag of money simply double the height. Okay, and this is this much high, this is double. Again, double. However, the perspective, the angle, the perspective is kind of strange, it's weird. If we then try to do the perspective correct by using this height, clearly now the difference is not double. This is not double than this. This is far more than double than this. According to the author of the book, this represents like 4 times. So it is a question of how you present the information. And for the untrained eye, like mine, all right, question of perspective. The gigantic 50-foot woman, she was like 5.7, pero given different angle of the cameras, looks like 50 foot. There was a movie, the gigantic 50-foot woman. Okay, truly there is. Okay, you can check it on Netflix or qué sé yo, donde sea. Right. Again, it's a question of perspective, how you present the information. Okay. And yes, mean. Please be mean. And being obviously on the linguistic side, because in this case, by mean I mean be mean. Okay. This is also taken from, sorry to say, from a Spanish political party. If we look at it just by looking at the size of the columns, we can say that the government has been spending more and more and more and more and more and more money on gastos sociales from 2011 through to 2016. Okay, so that's wonderful. Government spending more money on people. Who's going to complain about that, right? Okay, and if we look at the columns, okay, we look at this one, this thick, we take it over here, we can say that they are spending like maybe 6-7 times the amount of money. Again, that's wonderful, that's great, that's superb, that's magnificent, let's vote for that political party. Okay. However, if we start looking at the fine print and at the numbers, we may be surprised. I don't know if you can see, this 180 million euros, 182, 184, 183. Wait a sec. How can be that if this amount is smaller than this one, the column is taller, is higher? This should be lower, right? 184, 187. Okay, so there is, again, we go from 182 to 184 to 183. So the column should be even lower than this. This is 184. So obviously the columns do not represent faithfully the amount of money. Okay? And besides, if this is 180, how can this be 197? There's only $7 million difference. However, looks like we are spending 6-7 times the amount of money. So the graph, again, this comes from a political party. So in this case, we cannot give them the benefit of the doubt. Probably they are using it to, mislead people. Okay? No, todavía no. Okay, so obviously the graph is absolutely erroneous. It's absolutely misleading. Okay? If we, okay, that looks a bit better, the comparison of the quantities of the money spent on gastos sociales. Okay? Again, this is what the 183 millions, a bit less than this, remember? Okay? This represents a bit more faithfully. Okay? Again, compare. Same data. The very same data. Okay? Again, this is the original graph. Certainly this will lead you to believe, boy, that political party is doing wonderful. They're really spending money on people. That's great. Okay? But, okay. Same political party, another graph. Okay? Talking about people, unemployed people. By looking at it, you can say, wow, there's a huge slide down the hill, meaning there's a huge decrease in the number of people. By looking at that slide, okay? But obviously, the number from 5 million to 47, that's only 300,000 people fewer in the unemployment, okay? However, the graph looked like a lot more, okay? Because notice all this much space, this cannot be all the way to zero. Okay. So yes, the graph does communicate something, but it's not. They are not being ethical, and certainly they are not being truthful. Okay. Fox also does their own tricks. Okay. If we consider this, okay, the Obamacare enrollment, just by looking at the graph, we might say, all right, okay, I mean, this is the goal. This high is the goal. They are still a long way from reaching that goal. Like, nobody's going for Obamacare. Like, Obamacare is going to be a flop, it's going to be a failure. Nobody, okay, they're still on, okay? But if we notice it's only 1 million people, okay? If this height represents 6 million, 1 million more cannot be like 3 times the height of the column. Okay? So in any case, this could be maybe something like this height. Okay? All right. Again, that comes from politicians and people interested. Again, there's a clear bias. The communication, obviously, unethical. Okay. The point again is we need to be able to see past those graphical visuals, to see past those numbers, and to look for the final print, because that will also give us some more information. And again, remember that there's always information behind the numbers. Okay. This is another graph to try to represent how the price of energy, electricity, with one party it was all the way up, and with the other party all the way down. Like, we had to pay more and more for the electricity, and then there's a new party in power, and the price of electricity goes all the way down and stays down. Okay, so it looks great until you realize these are years, these are months. You are trying to represent like months, 1 month, 2 months have the same value as 1 year, 2 years. Okay. Maybe after the 3.1, it will again rise up to 5 point and then up to 7 point. Okay. But by representing just only a small portion of data compared with a big portion of data, you are trying to make it look like you are doing a great job. Okay. All right. Okay. How about this one? Gun deaths in Florida. Oh wow. We see the peak, and it comes all the way down. Great. There are fewer and fewer deaths because of gun violence in Florida. That's wonderful. Okay, they're doing something wonderful, something great. Until we realize that the scale is kind of upside down. This is what zero is. It's not down here as we expected. So it's kind of upside down, and if we do it the right way, okay, looks like there's been an increase in the death of by guns rather than a decrease. ¿Verdad? So we tend to, many times we tend, again, above all the untrained people, most of us do not deal with numbers with that much detail, and therefore most of us will simply see a graph like this and like that, and we'll say, okay, there's been fewer and fewer deaths with guns in Florida, okay, and the like. So, but the situation is quite the opposite. Right? Some people, who work with statistics daily, will very soon see the reality behind the graph. Most of us may not, or we may have a hard time trying to figure out the real truth behind the graph. And therefore, wrapping up, first of all, errare humanum est. Nobody is free of making mistakes. We all do. Again, as I told you at the beginning of the presentation, the purpose for you to know how to lie, but rather how to help you to identify when other people are doing statistics wrong. Okay? Oh, but we all make mistakes. Many times it's simply that, a mistake, not a will to really do any evil. Okay? Si vis pacem para bellum, you want peace, prepare for war, they say. As I told you also, we all need to, the same way that we all deal with words daily, we all deal with numbers daily. I do, even though numbers is not by far my expertise, even though my handling of numbers is very, very, very limited. Still, we all need to know, to have some idea, some mastery on how to tackle numbers, how to tackle graphs. Okay, because many times errare humanum est. Many times people make mistakes, and if we are trained or we get some, our IQ is a bit more refined to spot the problem behind the number. Wonderful. That's part of why we are where we are. All the glitter is not gold. To change from language, from Latin to English. Okay. If it is too good to be true, maybe it is, if you wish. Okay. Again, we need to be able to see past the numbers. We need to be able to see past the words. Okay. Because again, errare humanum est. Okay. And let me finish with Sheldon. If you follow the series, the TV series, which is not on Netflix, and that's why I guess many people do not know the series. He's having he just met Stephen Hawking, the late Stephen Hawking, and he's his idol. That's the only person that he can consider superior to his own intelligence. But he's brilliant. He has a brilliant mind. He's wonderful with numbers, with physics. He's, to some extent, I do see myself in him. We've got some of the very same quirks. But again, errare humanum est. Even Sheldon himself does make arithmetical mistakes, as we are about to see in this video.
Professor Hawking, it's an honor and a privilege to meet you, sir.
I know.
I want to thank you for taking time to see me.
My pleasure. I enjoyed reading your paper very much. You clearly have a brilliant mind.
I know.
Your thesis that the Higgs boson is a black hole accelerating backwards through time is fascinating.
Well, thank you. Just can give me one more.
I don't know why it stops sometimes in the middle of.
In the shower.
That's nice. Too bad it's wrong.
What do you mean wrong?
You made an arithmetic mistake on page 2.
That can't be right. I don't make arithmetic mistakes.
Are you saying I do?
No, of course not. It's just, I was thinking, oh gosh golly, I made a boo-boo. And I
Don't know why it stops.
gave it to Stephen Hawking.
Great. Another failure.
All right, okay. So even the most brilliant of the minds on earth makes mistakes. So again, errare humanum est, si vis pacem para bellum, all that glitters is not gold. We have to be prepared. We need to be able to see past the numbers and not be at all behind the graph. Everything that we do with words, with numbers, we have to be better every single day. It's our own interest and for our own benefit. Any question? Because with that, we pretty much. Please, if you have any question, it did not be about statistics, okay? Because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to give you a proper answer. Angelica, have any question? No. Sí.
Pero lo que presenta el autor fueron estadísticas que se hicieron intencionalmente de esa manera, o sea, sabiendo que estaban incorrectas.
I don't know about this one. About this one, probably it comes from Fox. You know, Fox is Trump's TV station. These come from political parties, from the Partido Popular, and most likely, I mean, you cannot say for sure that they did it on purpose. But yeah, you know the history. Sabes la historia detrás del Partido Popular, o sea que en España, o sea que. In any case, I mean, again, I mean, first time I saw that, la primera vez que vi esa gráfica, como yo no tengo entrenamiento de esto, lo veía y digo, pues qué bueno, estupendo. Pero luego empecé a leer todo eso y digo, caramba, es cierto, no sé qué, tú sabes. Again, we learn something every single day. Any other question, maybe?
¿Se habla en el libro de aspectos éticos, legales o algo que, algún precedente,
No.
algún ejemplo de
No.
que hayan
No. No, es lo que... Él, o sea, básicamente los ejemplos que él presenta son reales, pero en ningún momento dice que entra a valorar los ejemplos desde el punto de vista ético. Sencillamente dice, pasa esto y este es el problema y esto no está bien, tal, pero no lo valora más allá de eso. Okay. Sí.
¿El autor es realmente un profesional en estadística o es un profesional a la hora de...
No, sí, yo no sé exactamente a qué él se dedica, pero sí sé y le aparece en el libro. ¿Dónde está el libro? ¿O tiene usted? Que en el libro que él trabaja con números, todo eso. A ver si me acuerdo. Gracias, Angélica. Okay. Yo sé que en algún sitio leí de él, del autor, y creo que tiene otros libros también de esto. Voy a ver si lo encuentro. En este libro no, aquí lo que dice es que following an appeal of mine through the American Statistical Association, a number of professional statisticians who, believe me, deplore the misuses of statistics as heartily as anyone alive, sent me items from their own collection. Pero yo sé que en algún sitio leí que esta persona se trabaja con números. Si era o trabajaba, porque creo que ya, si es universidad o tal, no me acuerdo. Pero sí sé que. Ok. Pero aquí, por lo menos en este libro, aquí no lo estoy encontrando ahora, o sea que tiene que haber sido probablemente en internet donde vi la referencia. Ok. Any other question? Pues nada, repito, muchas gracias por venir. Espero que hayan pasado un buen rato, que no les haya aburrido mucho y que realmente, pues, al igual que yo he aprendido algunas cosas, a ver un poquito más allá, no quedarme con la imagen de una gráfica enseguida, sino intentar desmenuzarla en sus componentes, a ver si hay algo fishy, algún gato encerrado. I hope that you've also learned something new, and if not, at least that I didn't get to get you to sleep very soon. Okay. In any case, thank you for attending. Thank you for very much for being here with me. Really, thank you.